we've been told our whole lives that wrinkle creams are the easiest way to look younger. Well, according to one doctor, that is old news. Dr. John Lakey is a world-renowned Beverly Hills beauty expert, and he says that most wrinkle fixes on the market are just glorified moisturizers. Facts. That is facts. He said they hardly make a dent on your appearance, and some can even be harmful to your skin. So recently, Dr. Lakey has focused his attention away from the mainstream cosmetic procedures so that he can pursue a revolutionary anti-aging breakthrough. Lakey told reporters, "It's almost like Photoshop for your face. You may even be mad after seeing how easy it is to visibly erase your wrinkles from view." His personal clients have dubbed his new do-it-yourself technique the age rewinder method because it can take years or even decades off your appearance in under 2 minutes. In light of this amazing breakthrough, Dr. Lakey has released a step-by-step video to the public, free and uninterrupted, where he outlines exactly how to use this simple solution from home. Dr. Lakey commented, "If this helps even one person look younger or feel more confident, I'll be thrilled knowing I helped." Isn't that sweet? The video's gone viral. At first, it was shared by users on Facebook, but now it's racked up over 2,300,000 views and counting. So the comments and feedback are outstanding, with thousands of women reporting they look decades younger. One viewer commented, "Best results of anything I've used. I can't believe how well this works. I'll never stop using this. I don't understand how it works, but the results are great. Thank you." So you can find out more about this yourself right now. Go to bhmd1.com/speaks, or you can just click on the link in the description box below. That's bhmd1.com/speaks. Now, there's one thing Dr. Lakey does ask from his viewers. He says, if watching this video helps you look and feel younger than you have in years, then please share this video with your friends and loved ones. Together, we have the power to help as many women reclaim a youthful look as possible. So go watch the video at bhmd1.com/speaks right now, or just click on the link in the description box below. You know how I know Kyle was trying to make Mauricio jealous? Because she followed it up with, the funny part is he doesn't even get jealous. I mean, so he doesn't even care. So deep down, you were trying to make him jealous, but Kyle won't even admit that to herself. Kyle is so disconnected from her own truth that she wouldn't even be able to admit to herself that that's exactly why she showed up wearing that dress, by the way. Now, I've been blocked by Kyle on Instagram for many years, so I don't get Kyle content. So maybe she's dressing like this often. But the bodycon blue and black dress, I was like, oh shit, okay, Kyle. But she will deny it because I think she's even denying it to herself. So she does think she wasn't trying to make Mauricio jealous, but she was. Anyway, all right, let's get into it. Kyle and Kathy get mammograms. I gotta get a mammogram. Kyle does a great job of talking about mammograms. I will give her that. Okay, she brings awareness, good reminders. Kathy, now in the after show, Kathy gets into this more. She's apparently very emotional over Kyle and Mauricio's separation, which is like to the point where Kyle is like, I can't talk to you about this because you're so emotional. And then Kathy even reached out to Mauricio. Like she clearly never reaches out to him, but she called him. He was skiing in Austria and he answered the phone like, is everything okay? Because it's so out of the norm for Kathy to call him, and claims it's because she feels bad and he seems sad and confused. Interesting. Also, one interesting, Kathy says that Kyle and Mauricio and her and Rick used to have fun together. And I'm like, forever ago, right? And then he made the agency and then never again. You guys never, he wasn't invited to weddings, right? So interesting move from Kathy, I think. But I think Kathy's another one, this family, I swear, Kathy's another one that's not fully connected to her feelings either. but also probably thinks she is, but also knows she doesn't want to be. I don't know. Kathy, this family really fascinates me. So, um, but so they get the mammograms and they're talking about the photo, obviously. And Kyle's like, I mean, I would think he would text me and say something and apologize. And Kathy goes, he is a single grown man. But when people are quiet, that tells you a lot. And I'm like, so Kyle, at this point, Kyle should be like, I'm filing. I'm done. But there's still this feeling of waiting for Mauricio. Like, she's still expecting him to send a text and be like, I'm so sorry. I mean, we'll see next week. There's hopefully next week we get something. It seems like she's going to be a little sassy with Mauricio, but I'm like, just give us something. Say the things that are in your head that you're not saying out loud because we see them written all over your face, but you're not saying it. So we're just left confused because you're confused, right? But then Kyle goes, you know what I need to do right now? And then I remember when we picked up that she took wife out of her bio. I remember that. And what a weird move. I know she thinks it was she talks about it in the after show. She goes, I know it was a big move because he wouldn't notice it, but when it gets picked up by media outlets, he will. So I knew it was going to be a big deal, a big statement. And I'm like, so then doing that, but not talking directly to Mauricio is kind of nuts. Doing that, sending him a message via the press. Oh, I just put that together. Kind of proving that Sutton's been saying that the two of them seem to be like communicating through the press, but in such passive aggressive ways. Like, you guys have been married for so long and have 4 children, yet you act like you're playing coy. With like, what about doing this? Huh? I'm going to take wife out of my bio, and then the media outlets will pick it up, and then Mauricio will see that, and then maybe he'll reach out to me. It's just bizarre, right? Okay, calm down, Emily. Whoa. So then she takes it off her bio, and I also didn't realize that Mauricio had taken off both husband and father. Now it just said CEO of the agency. So yeah, okay. But Kathy's trying to talk about the woman in the photo, like, because Kathy's hinting, and Kyle will later steal Kathy's line. But Kathy's like, he's no Brad Pitt. So how is there paparazzi there? And then says, well, there's ways to find out and find out later. Whatever Kathy ends up saying to Kyle switches from being defensive when Erica was suggesting that Mauricio had something to do with setting it up to very happily throwing the woman under the bus. But I don't think he did, but she probably did. But Kathy's trying to talk about the woman. Like, do you know what she does? Just whatever. And Kyle is being so weird. She's like, stop talking about it. I don't want to talk about it. She's talking about it on camera. She doesn't want to give this woman too much life on camera because then they're going to use it. They're going to use these sound bites, and she doesn't want to have. And because she's a pro, she knows that's what I get what she's doing. But then Kyle's like, it could be somebody else next week. Immediately making this young woman. This woman looks young, like kind of creepy young. As Sutton savagely says in the after show, or was it the after show? Get your dentures out, Mauricio. She's your daughter's age. Or maybe that was in scene. That was in scene. She says that. But it's true, though. She looks really young. And you have 4 daughters. So, okay, moving on. We're gonna move on because we're going to pick up more of that. Garcelle goes to Sutton's store, and Sutton is prepping for her fashion show. Now, we're going to get into the whole sustainable clothing line later, because I'm very disappointed in the producers of the show for not giving us a full moment on explaining what it is, because it's actually quite important. We have a major problem with landfills, and clothes don't disintegrate into the earth. And that's sort of what landfills are supposed to do. Like the garbage goes there and eventually becomes one with the earth. And landfills are just full of clothing. And so they didn't talk. Okay, we're going to get to that later. But anyway, Garcelle and Sutton bring up the picture. Sutton goes like full Yosemite Sam. Like when she's trying to really make a point, she goes full Yosemite Sam. She's holding on to a pipe dream. And Cinderella, you didn't lose 1 shoe. You done lost 2 shoes. sorry, I'm done. Like, I can't anymore. She's become such a literal cartoon character when she's trying to, like, create a moment. You know, after Name 'em, I feel like everything Sutton says has a tinge of, this is gonna be something they can use in a meme. Ugh. Sorry, guys. I know some of you love Sutton, and I apologize to insult your queen, but she makes me crazy. I'm bringing this up too, though, to say that Sutton is just very vocal about her thoughts and opinions on Kyle and Mauricio, and then she gets in the after show and is like weird about discussing Morgan. And Garcelle, they kind of get into a battle. Not kind of, they do a little bit. Because Garcelle's like, but what Garcelle's basically saying is, we've been talking all this shit and crossing all the boundaries when it comes to this thing, and now she's like, I don't want to speculate on a friend's relationship. If she says nothing's going on, then that's how I feel and that's how I want it to be. And Garcelle's like, but we've been doing it already. We've been questioning this. And I don't necessarily agree with everything Garcelle says, like in the after show about how Kyle shouldn't have gone to Morgan's concert because she should be avoiding cameras and not feeding into it and all that. There's sometimes I'm like a little like, okay, well, she's not going to hide under a rock. But yes, I do get that Kyle lying and pretending she's not going to at least get a photo and maybe have it leak or something. That's bullshit. But it was weird. It was an abrupt shift for Sutton to be like, I'm not going to say anything about this. And Garcelle probably is like, you've left me out here looking all messy. And now you get to be like, I'm not going to talk about Morgan. So, okay. Erica's mom is here. And now there's this whole moment for Erica to have this, like, I've come so far since Tom moment. Now, Erica, we're watching you. I'm sorry. You might be thinking you're pulling this off, but you're not. She's trying to distance herself from Tom. You spent a long fucking time with him, and you often refer to your lifestyle as if it was real back then. Like in the after show, she's talking about redecorating, and she's like, I'm not used to working with a budget. Well, I mean, I had a budget before, but a much bigger one. And no mention after that of like, it wasn't even our money. It was stolen money. At any point are you going to mention that? At some point are you ever going to say, I was operating with money that was actually stolen from victims? Or maybe not go into that much detail because, I don't know, lawyer stuff. But what about just saying like, well, it wasn't the same lifestyle I thought I was living. How about that? But doesn't even acknowledge it. She still talks about it like it was all real. And that's annoying. And like, let's go back to when you left Tom. You lied over and over again. So now she just gets to move on from it. Girl, I know she thinks she's flying under the radar and she's got her redecorating storyline and we're all going to be like, wow, it really does make a huge difference. Redecorating, you're like a new woman, all brand new. No more Tom. Forget it. No way. All right. Dude, Dorit and Garcelle get dinner. This looked odd. Very odd. They do discuss the pictures of Mo and then also Kyle at Morgan's concert. And in this moment, Dorit's like, I know, well, if you don't want the photo taken, then don't give him any ammunition or whatever she says. But then when she sees Kyle later at Sutton's fashion show, she's like, yeah, no, you weren't trying to have your picture taken. No. I'm like, say it with your whole chest. But I guess she is trying to pretend that her and Kyle are going to get back to a better place. I guess. But then after the photo, they have a discussion about Sutton. And again, Dorit's not going to really acknowledge her contribution to things, period, which is frustrating. And she's like, it's not like I was just some raging bitch. And Garcelle goes, but you were, though. Yeah, you were. But then, Dorit's got it when she says, like, at the caviar event, Sutton was cruel. And Garcelle agrees. Garcelle's like, yeah, that line. And Sutton on the after show, not on the after show, on Watch What Happens Live, I don't think Andy likes Sutton very much. I think I've talked about that before. But she gets asked the question, like, do you regret saying the wallet line? She's like, well, I was angry. And when you're angry, you say things that aren't right. And Andy goes, yes, I'm familiar with that trope. So Andy's like, I'm not having it. Andy also asks about Reba and what if Reba has a thought or opinion on I think he was just looking for a follow-up, and she's like, she doesn't care. We talked earlier today. We didn't even talk about that. Yeah, she doesn't even care. And Andy goes, all right, well, I mean, she had a 2-episode story arc, so, and that's what was I not saying that? Like, if you're going to give us this whole moment, give us the whole, like, nothing. Do you feel better, Sutton? Do you feel like your relationship changed with your mother because that was the whole purpose of the trip? We're going to get further into that in a second. But yeah, Andy was not, he was like, I don't find this adorable. He's often very short with Sutton. Okay. Sutton's fashion show rehearsal. Okay, I was upset for Jennifer. I'm like, this is Jennifer Tilly, ma'am. All right, she doesn't need to be at the rehearsal for this. And then Sutton seemed very oblivious. So she was like, Jennifer, you're not hitting your mark here. All right. And Jennifer Tilly says, I'm a celebrity. Okay. I don't go to rehearsals. You show up 15 minutes before and they tell you where to go. Sutton does not realize who Jennifer Tilly is. And I like that. No, I like that for Jennifer Tilly, that she's like, excuse me. But still, Jennifer Tilly, what a good sport. Jennifer Tilly's like, okay, then I'll be at the rehearsal and I'll just be so silly. And because Sutton was like a nervous wreck, obviously, which all designers are before a fashion show. So I will not judge her. But Reba, she was supposed to come out, but yeah, they had some sort of fiasco with the airlines, and Reba was in the airport for 13 hours, right? 13 hours. I would have said, don't worry about it. At that point, like, I forget it. Get out of the airport, go home, relax. You don't need to stay, but she wanted to come. But see, this is where I think Sutton isn't like acknowledging the progress Reba's making, because when Sutton FaceTimes her and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry you couldn't make it. I think you would have really enjoyed it. Reba says, well, I don't know if I would have enjoyed it. More so as I would have enjoyed you and your success. And Sutton just goes, I mean, I hope it's a success. And I'm like, no, pause. You had this whole trip where you said that you never hear any positive affirmations from your mom. And here she is making a serious effort to give you that back. And you're like, well, I mean, I hope, anyway, it doesn't seem to acknowledge that her mom has learned something and is growing and adapting. And so even when Andy asked about Reba and she was just like, oh, she doesn't care. Like, well, then what was the fucking point? Did you really get anywhere? But I think that Reba was always willing to give a little more, and Sutton wasn't willing to accept it. There, I said it. Moving on. Kyle skipping the red carpet is hilarious. I don't know why, but that one little shot of her coming into the event and going, I'm not talking to press. I loved it. They were like, okay, got it. And fair, honestly. I wouldn't want to walk a press line if I was one of these women either. Not if I was Kyle. How about that? Or Dorit. But Dorit's like, I'll do it. Sutton is being so weird before the show. Like, Bose and Garcelle, she's talking to both of them, and she's like, I don't know what day it is. I don't even know. Where am I? And Garcelle goes, I'm going to go look for my seat. So Kyle and Dorit, they have a little meetup to talk about the picture, or just to check in. And Kyle says that Mauricio has texted and apologized. And so that's great. But then now Kyle's fully on the train of that woman set up the picture. Meanwhile, she was so defensive at the thought of saying it. And also, why would Mauricio why are you so against believing that? Why are we so quick to blame that woman? Like, how dare she? She's the reason. It's like, because if you had to face the reality that possibly Mauricio did, I don't know if she would know how to handle that. Because it's just giving, like, let's hate on the woman, right? Did Kathy break her knee on the way in? She walks in and she's like, I broke my knee. And I'm like, okay, well, but she comes in very disoriented. She fell on her knee and then hurt her hand. Like, we got a whole lot of stuff going on. But so she's loopier than normal. This is loopy even for Kathy. Because then she's come up with this joke that isn't really that funny about how Dorit could be the narrator for the fashion show, because she's so into fashion. I'm going to go tell Sutton that. And it's supposed to be a joke, I guess, according to Kyle in the after show. Kyle's like, yeah, it was a little practical joke. She was going to tell Sutton that Dorit was going to do the narrating, but I'm like, that's not what happened. Kathy walked to the back and while they were about to send models out, and she's like, Sutton, do you need Dorit to narrate and introduce the show? And obviously Sutton's like, no. And Sutton says in the after show, this isn't like the 90s. We don't do fashion shows where we announce the clothes anymore and the model. Actually, weren't there were some Bravo moments where wasn't it Luann? Or no, maybe Bethany Frankel. Someone was doing announcing for a fashion show one time and they were like having a hard time getting the names right or something. So Kathy's done that and then starts taking her sweet time looking at the sign. The lights are on. Everyone's yelling, Kathy, Kathy. And she is, I swear she's pretending she didn't hear it. I swear she is. There's no way she couldn't. If she looks over to Kyle and sees Kyle going, Kathy, Kathy, Kathy goes up to Erica's mom and is like telling her something. And Erica, is going, stop it, sit down. And Kathy doesn't notice it until then she kind of makes a little like, oopsie face towards the camera when she realizes that the models, or when she realizes. I think she totally knew what she was doing. She was having like a silly Kathy moment and knows she can get away with just being a weirdo like that. Because then in the after show, I don't buy her excuse. She's like, I thought maybe Sutton needed my help. I didn't expect it to be so together. I thought she'd need some last minute something. So I was going back there to offer that. So you weren't going there to do a practical, all right. So the fashion line. Now, I know I said I would talk about this. I don't think it was like fair to let Kyle and Erica and Dorit and Bose kind of make fun of Sutton for wanting to do a sustainable line without having Sutton properly explain it. And then without at least mentioning why sustainable clothing lines have even come out. Because the landfills, they're full of clothes. And when Dorit's like, I mean, if I was a designer, I would be pissed if someone bought these clothes that were supposed to just go to a landfill. I wasn't auctioning them off. I was just going to send them to a landfill. Like, of course, they go to a landfill. Exactly. Like, you're so close. But the problem is the more waste we keep adding to landfills, they just keep piling up. There's nowhere for it to go. So that's why there's these sustainable lines, the circular, whatever it's called, because that way, if you have clothes that were going to go to a landfill, let someone else take them, repurpose, redesign, whatever, and then we don't have as much waste. Like when I watch award shows and at the Oscars, they do 2 changes. They do one dress for the event and then one dress for the after show. And I'm thinking that's so much waste. We have an overconsumption problem all over the world, but especially in America, capitalist, we love stuff. And so, and that stuff eventually becomes trash and then it goes to landfills. And I don't like to be all like, hey, climate change, whatever. But after the fires in LA and seeing how nature not working the way we need it to work can cause actual human problems, whether you like it or not. Like, I like to be much more aware of the amount of waste I create because I order food a lot, and that's a lot of like one-off recycling. And I actually stopped ordering from one place because I didn't realize that their stuff was not recyclable. And I was like, listen, I can't do it. I'm such a hero. I know. It's okay. But yeah. So without explaining what the fashion line or what sustainable clothes and all that stuff is, and just letting them make fun of Sutton because maybe they didn't love the designs. I like some of them. No, it wasn't cohesive, but like the whole point was that she was trying to bring awareness to this need. But you know what? They missed the mark. I don't know if they cut Sutton's speech, but at the end, I would have thought, like when she did her, thank you everyone for coming. My daughter's here. Hope she's proud of me. And I hope my mom's proud of me. And it made it seem like that was it. But I would hope that Sutton would have been like, so the sustainable line is clothing that was going to go to a landfill. And we have I would assume that she did all that and they just cut it because they were like, good enough. But maybe she didn't. Maybe she did just say, I hope my daughter's proud and I hope my mom's proud. And then was like, thanks. But I would hope that she
But and then the way Kyle like makes fun of Sutton in the after show, she's like, I don't know if Sutton really cares that much about the environment or if like this is just something new for her to try. Well, no, let's not turn this into some joke. All right, we all got to live here, unfortunately, and what we do can cause a lot of damage and therefore make it not fun for us to live. Like what I'm worried about very selfishly is when I'm in my later years, I don't want to be dealing with some burnt ass Mad Max looking earth. We have had a lot more rain since the fires, thank God. But it doesn't mean that we're not doing the earth is not functioning the way earth is supposed to function. It's not just been like a Leonardo DiCaprio cause to get behind. It's just like we all need to kind of care about it or at least be aware of it. So yeah, missed opportunity for Beverly Hills, I gotta say. About Denise's show. I will not be covering that show. No, I'm sorry, it's dark. The whole OnlyFans and Sammy being like, yeah, it was super awkward or super embarrassing when you started your OnlyFans and made it all about you. Like, that's how it looked from the outside. It looked like, Denise was just literally stealing Sammy's thunder to go on OnlyFans. And then to hear Sammy confirm that, I was like, okay, this is dark. It's a problematic ass show. So I will not be covering it. And then, oh my God, Denise was so weird. Andy's like, so do you guys know what you've made on OnlyFans? And Denise was like, we don't talk about money. And so Andy tried to do like, but like a ballpark. She just like stared at him with her eyes wide, like, no. Oh, all right. All right. Well, it's not a secret that you're on OnlyFans and you're there for the money. So, okay. So yeah, I will not be covering that show. No, thank you. Okay. All right. I'm going to wrap this up so I can get this out to you. Love you guys so much. Mean it. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to She's Speaking with Emily Hanks. This show is produced, hosted, and edited by me, Emily, and brought to you in partnership with Cloud 10 Media. If you are looking for bonus content, check out the Patreon. The link is in the description. To show some support, you can hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Another free way to support the pod, please rate and/or review on whatever platform you listen. It's free, and it helps the algorithm or something. You can also head to buymeacoffee.com/shespeaks and buy me a coffee or two. Make sure you're following me on all social medias. I am She's Speaking with Emily Hanks across all platforms: Threads, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. That's it. Thank you guys. See you soon.